From Careco TV, one of the longest running outdoor programs on television today. Exploring the country and the coast in search of adventures. From the mountains of the great Northwest to the shores of the Atlantic Ocean. This is Americana Outdoors, presented by Garmin. This week on Americana Outdoors, we're packing our bags and crossing oceans to make a return trip we've been dreaming about for years. We're going to Africa. Ever since our last visit to South Africa in 2019, we wanted to turn right back around and do it all over again. But due to the COVID-19 pandemic, that dream has been stuck in a holding pattern. With the world finally opening back up, we jumped at the chance to go on a trip of a lifetime with John X Safaris. However, the first part of the adventure is getting there.
You know, when you plan your trips and you prepare for them, you can't prepare for everything. There's always going to be some things that happen while you're traveling internationally. They're going to slow you down. For instance, our trip, our plane got delayed. We got on board, then it got canceled. We got sent to our hotels, and we got back to the airport in the middle of the night, and eventually they just canceled the entire flight. And we ended up sleeping on the floor in Atlanta, but you know, I understand that in international travel, those things can happen. You can't let it sour your trip. So, you know, after we got through there, we got on our plane to Johannesburg. We actually got to Johannesburg and were able to catch our connecting flight down to Port Elizabeth and landed on our exact scheduled time. So despite one rough night in the airport, we were back on schedule and really traveling all the way to get to our destination here to hunt with the team at John X. As you get checked in and you meet the staff, you kind of, you know, get acclimated, and as tired as you are, you're really excited to get out into the field. So, you know, the next steps for me anytime I travel is you got to check your gear. Well, we have finally arrived, and I say finally with a little giggle in my voice because it took us a while to get here on this trip. We're in South Africa here with John X Safaris. We are excited to be here. We're getting ready now to start building all of our gear for what's going to be a pretty epic, pretty fun little adventure here over the next few days. We're going to fish, we're going to hunt, we're going to hunt with our bow, we're going to hunt with a rifle, we're going to go fish for species of fish that I have no clue what they are, but they say it's some of the prettiest backdrop and scenery that we could ever imagine. And you can see the backdrop here, what we're looking at. It's just absolutely gorgeous out across here. And this is a game-rich, target-rich environment. So if you like to hunt, this is definitely an adventure to think about going on. You know, traveling with your gear anywhere, I don't care if you're just going to your local deer lease or you're traveling across the world like we did here, is you know, taking preparations for all of it's really key. And for me, what I like to do is, you know, I pack a lot of extra things around my bow case and around everything in here, extra visor, so that gives it as much padding as it possibly can. And then once you get anywhere, shooting your rifle, shooting your handgun, shooting your crossbow, shooting your compound bow is the next step, because it's going to get bounced around in your truck by the airlines, whatever it may be, and you want to make sure it's shooting where it's supposed to before you go.
For this trip, Wade arrived with his bow in tow, but decided to forego packing his rifle. Here's his reasoning and how he was able to travel a little lighter, but still hunt with top-tier gear.
Since I didn't choose to travel with a rifle this year to make travel a little bit easier, I traveled with the Triton scope and several different items to be able to remount that scope on one of John X's rifles that any hunter can rent, which makes it easy. And in this case, I actually had chosen to hunt with an old school 300 Win Mag. And I mean, that's a caliber that I absolutely love. And to hunt some of these big animals that I'm going to be targeting this week, I want as much power as I possibly can. But it didn't take long to get all that dialed in, got everything sighted in down on the range. They've got a great range to go through the paces, whether you bring your own gun or you're getting acclimated with one of theirs. And then after we were done with all of that, it's kind of time and ready to just settle in and wait for that first hunt.
We'll return to the Eastern Cape of South Africa in just a moment. But in the meantime, take this opportunity to subscribe to our Americana Outdoors YouTube channel.
You know, a zebra is a cool animal. Everyone's uniquely different. The markings on all of them are uniquely different. Different fingerprint, just like we all have a different fingerprint. I think they're very good to eat all together. There's a lot of people that eat them over here in South Africa and use them for subsistence. They're a very sustainable, very valuable animal to a lot of people. And to be able to go hunt one, it's really a key deal.
While Wade heads out on this walk and stalk style of hunt, let's learn more about zebras and herd management from his professional hunter, Carl.
Our zebra, which you see on the property here, is the Birchall zebra. Birchall is your common plain zebra. That's what you see the most of. When we set out to hunt zebra, obviously zebra are plains animals. Most of the time, you don't have a lot of cover. You got to use the lay of the land, blind rises, little valleys, little draws. So our biggest challenge is make sure we use what we got to get within range. And then when we get to a group of zebra, the dynamics of a zebra family, and this is something that most people don't realize, the head mare decides who breeds. I like to take a zebra mare because for every stallion, there'll be 6 to 7, 8 zebra mares. Sometimes an old mare will not allow any stallion to breed, and what it does, it actually stagnates the population. So I do like to look out for old mares, take them out, because what happens is the minute you take an old mare out, one of the younger mares assumes the role of the head mare, and what happens? She immediately starts breeding, and there's a breeding frenzy within that group.
One had his eyes on us. All it takes is that darn one.
Yeah. The wind is good. We're going to walk in single file behind me, okay? I won't walk fast. We just need to kind of navigate out of this rodent's way without too much attention to us. Looking at the group on the right. Okay, do you see the one on the very right? On the tip of the shoulder. So he's looking to the right. There's one covering his backside, am I right?
Yep.
Okay. I want you to squeeze it off up with a leg on the shoulder. Squeeze it halfway up. Take your time. Great shot. Absolutely world class. World class. Right through the heart. Great shot. Wonderful.
That was on my list. That's why you
Let's
plan.
go and check it out.
Wow.
It's an
I'm gonna unload
old,
the gun.
yeah, and it's an old zebra mare. We take both stallions and mares,
Right.
and often our mares will have better skin, so they don't fight as much.
Ah,
the
yeah,
stallions
well, I
fight
mean,
each
when
other.
you watch a zebra, he wants to fight everything.
All the time.
All
yeah,
the time.
All the time. Right, let's head up there and check it out. As you walk up to it, the pattern on your zebra will be like no other zebra before.
That's so
And
good.
everyone is a fingerprint,
Wow.
the pattern. Ooh, it's nice. It is nice, right? Old mare. Old, and you couldn't have had a better shot. I'm gonna put my gun down here. I'm just gonna open my bolt. I'm gonna put
Lay it up
here.
here.
Perfect. Yeah, let's lay them right here. Have a look. Yeah. Well, my friend, it's a dusty zebra out on the plains here in the Eastern Cape. They've been rolling in the mud. They've been doing what's ever been doing, and you've been experiencing it over the last few
Yes.
days. And
Yeah.
we've seen a bunch. And I said to you that up with the leg and front tip of the shoulder. Well, you couldn't have done a better job. And it's a beautiful zebra, beautiful old mare, and I'm sure it'll make a lovely rug for you. Eh?
Yeah, and it'll feed a lot of people in the area. I think we're going to visit your school
Yes,
soon.
we're going to use this zebra as our weekly meat drop.
Yeah.
So we're going to get it back to the shed now. We're going to enjoy the beauty of it, take a few lovely pictures as a last respect, and then we're going to get the skin off, get it into the salt, and then we're going to process the meat. And tomorrow, Miss Angel is going to do the meat drop for us.
She'll love that. I mean, that's an important part of the entire experience. Pass it on. Nothing goes to waste. I've said it before over here. Nothing goes to waste, and there's times when sustainable harvest is important to manage the land and take care of the properties, and we do the same thing. Thank you, sir.
It's a pleasure,
Well
Wayne.
done.
Lovely, lovely day, and what an absolute pleasure to have you here with us and to experience this.
Congratulations, Wade. This adventure from the stalking to taking a world-class shot on this magnificent zebra will make for great storytelling for years to come. We'll return to the Eastern Cape of South Africa in just a moment. But in the meantime, take this opportunity to subscribe to our Americana Outdoors YouTube channel.
When you go on a trip like this, a lot of times a big part of the enjoyment is everybody that's going to be involved in it. Obviously, you build a relationship with your professional hunters, your guides, and then you begin to want to do other things with them while you're here. So, we did a shopping trip to Kenton by the Sea with Alicia and Angel. Walking around shopping in a beachfront town is not something that's unusual for us, but we've never done it in South Africa. So, watching your wife pick out a dress, pick out different little knickknacks is fun for everybody, and it makes it a mixed trip.
Speaking of mixing up the trip, another adventure Wade and Angel checked off their bucket list was going on a safari to meet Mike the cheetah at the Mountain Zebra National Park. For those of you who follow our show closely, you'll know Angel loves all things cats.
We went up the mountain, the ranger got out 2 or 3 times, did his little telemetry thing, got the hits, and we were able to hike right up to it with everybody in our party and watch him. And to me, it looked like our house cats at home. He'd had a big night out partying, eating, and he was trying to take a nap, just waiting for us to move on.
True to the well-rounded outdoorsman he is, Wade loves fishing just as much as he loves hunting. Another opportunity during this trip was to go fishing for a species of fish Wade has never even heard of.
That's awesome.
That is beautiful. This is by far my favorite fish in the whole world. Afrikaners call it a kabeljou, and it's unfortunately, because of commercial fishing, it's quite severely endangered now. So there's a big conservation effort on these specific fish going on currently. Such a special fish, and I'm going to hand him to you. And that's a beautiful fish.
As the sun rises on a place like this and the lights begin to come across the water, and there's no other sounds out there except, sound of your line going through your spinning rod guides, and then it's broken with the zing and the telltale noise of your drag zipping. I mean, those are the reasons why so many of us like to fish, so many of us like to travel, and it's something that's it's awe-inspiring and memory-making.
Back at the main campsite, it looks like the team at John X Safaris is ready to take us behind the scenes to see how they prepare animals for taxidermy.
Another neat thing that was tied into our zebra adventure was the time that is spent to prep that. They've really got a great setup here at their headquarters. They've got a big walk-in cooler. They've got a great place to skin and prepare your trophies, which is really important because these are things that you're going to take home and tell stories on for a long time. The meat is going to do what it does short term for everybody, but your stories that you'll tell on it and how it inspires others to come hunt is a really key part of this. And the process that they go through is absolutely amazing to prepare all this.
Radio. So the meat's in the cooler, we're all happy about that, and let's work with the skin. We're going to take it that side. Into the salt we go. So Wade, what we've got here, bud, this is basically our salt pit, so we try and keep it separated, completely separate from the meat processing side. And we've developed something very unique over the years where we not only put a bed of salt, but if you look underneath here, we have air. On top of that, we have salt. So salt absorbs moisture, right. Wood absorbs moisture, as well as air. And now, these guys are doing what we call rubbing in the salt. So we're rubbing every single inch of this and then covering it. Wow. And then we change our salt here, I would say, twice a month. We change salt. The guys here have a very good feeling for it. Most of these guys have been at it for 30, 40 years with us. They have a very, very, very good feeling about the salt. And when they're salting, I give them free access to use as much salt as they need. So in a season like this, it's nothing for me to use up to 750 bags to 1,000 bags of salt.
This is protecting the memories, of the lifelong memories in many cases, and beyond generations.
Absolutely.
So it's an important step.
And what you're seeing here right now, this skin will be in here for about 5, 6 days, okay? And then they're gonna hang them out. Like there's a zebra cape, here's a kudu cape, and they're now doing the final part of this prep where basically they're gonna air dry. And from there, I'll take you over here. What you'll notice is there's spots of white coming there already. That's where the sun has been good already. So it's not too much direct sunlight, but it's been good kind of dry conditions. And when we know skin is in good shape is if it cakes on like this. You see how I can rub it off, but not all of it comes off? It's caking on beautifully. And when you see that, that skin's in good shape. Then the taxidermists can obviously do their magic. But from here, we fold them, we put them in our container where they're stored safely, and we would have them out of here in under 3 weeks from the time we hunt ends. Normally 2 weeks turnaround, 14 days, I've got them out of here, and I get them to the taxidermist.
What a cool glimpse at how the team takes care of these animals and, by extension, takes great care to preserve the memories of their hunters. We'll return to the Eastern Cape of South Africa in just a moment. But in the meantime, take this opportunity to subscribe to our Americana Outdoors YouTube channel.
Over the years, hunters have always had this interest, this common goal of wanting to give back. Give more than just their safari, not only sustain the wildlife of the region, they wanted to actually help the people of the region more than just jobs. When we arrived here, that school had nothing. No running water, no electricity, nothing. And basically we were caught in a situation where our own staff members were coming to us saying, can we help? And so we took it on, and we started with kind of maintenance, repairs, just getting facilities up to scratch. And we started with just simple stationery supplies, things that you take for granted every day, something like a pen, a paper, just to write on a piece of paper. And that kind of grew. And I was speaking to hunters from the US, and they said how wonderful the school lunch system is in the US. And it kind of grew on us, and we thought, well, let us do school lunch system. So we're subsidizing their protein. This is what they will now use for school lunches. So we cut it up for them. We don't even bag it, because what they do, they start cooking immediately. You'll see there'll be a big feast today.
Oh, nice.
You with
nice.
me? And so we kind of provide cooler box a week like this, ongoing. And so they get some help from the state, but never enough money for them to be able to do protein. You can actually see they're using lentils as a substitute for protein.
Okay.
So that's a cheaper form of doing it. So we can then subsidize it with real protein.
protein.
We're all right,
And good
real
protein,
meat.
yeah.
You know, and obviously the game we hunt, there's excess meat. We use at camp, and our staff use it, and then we can make sure the school gets as well.
Awesome.
The main thing at the school is to see ongoing maintenance, because there is a lot of wear and tear, and a lot of those buildings are very old. So one of our greatest challenges is just keeping the school functioning on a day-to-day level, making sure that our teachers are taken care of, because they are our link to educating our children. Then in the future, I think we would like to do a program with maybe growing some chickens as an ideology of sustainability. We have to teach them that a little bit of the resource being looked after and taken and harvested will look after the greater resource. And may that be water, wildlife, any aspect of their life, we have to do that. It's of utmost importance.
When you look at efforts like this, all of it comes together through the funds of the hunters that support this part of South Africa that we're in. And without those, none of this exists. And I think that's something that is always lost by anti-hunters and people that don't understand it. And the hunters' funds, they're going to donate money back to it. They donate money to help make the funds. They're going to help donate a lot of their meat. If you like opportunities to help, this is one of those ones. I'm telling you, if you come to hunt South Africa, look at these guys' operation, or to heck, spend some time, donate some money to one of their charitable operations that they have over here, because, I mean, this is a group, in my opinion, what I'm seeing, they're trying to give something back to both the land and the people that are here on it.
As we near the end of this show, let's learn more about John X Safaris and the ideology behind their operation.
John X Safaris was started in 1983, so this year is actually our 40th year. Today is a 30,000 acre concession and growing, home to 24 different species, all naturally occurring. Starting at the top with Cape buffalo and giraffe as our biggest species, right down to the steenbok and common duiker. I think the journey is what makes it worthwhile. If it's work, you're never going to enjoy it the same way. And I think that we wake up in the morning and we are able to really enjoy what we do. You feel like you achieve something. You know, every hunt, every experience, you end up becoming a team. At the end of the day, we're all getting over the line together with a common goal of delivering not only the animals, but a world-class experience with it. And I always say everything starts with the soil, then with the land, with the vegetation on the land, with the grass, the bush, the browsing, the grazing, and then only the animal. So the animals will be good if it starts at the soil. at the right level. And that there, I think, that's what drives me on more than anything, and the rest of us, to see the prosperity of what we're doing and to see our wildlife doing this well. I think that there drives you every day.
That's a wrap for now, folks, but it's certainly not the end of our adventures in the Eastern Cape of South Africa. In a future show, we'll join Wade and the team at John X Safaris on an epic hunt for yet another bucket list animal, the water buck. Hey, thank you for watching, and join us next week on a new episode of Americana Outdoors. Americana Outdoors is a Careco TV production.